Welcome to the American Ultra Sports Series, exclusively on Prime Network. Welcome to the Catalina 91 water ski race from Long Beach, California. Presented by Valvoline Motor Oil. Hi, I'm David Camp. Good morning and welcome to Catalina 91 water ski race, billed as the world's best water skiing event. Each August, the Long Beach Boat and Ski Club hold this one-of-a-kind 62-mile ultra-marathon water skiing race from Long Beach Harbor to Catalina Island and back. This year, we have over 115 boats and skiers that'll attempt to go 62 miles on this open ocean. They'll be skiing on a special 7-foot, 1-inch thick slalom ski, reaching speeds up to 100 miles per hour. Now, if you don't think that's fast, they've got the natural elements of sharks and boats in their wakes to deal with as well.
David, an incredible advantage point here at the starting area. As you mentioned, we have over 115 boats ready to go for the 43rd annual Great Catalina Ski Race. As a matter of fact, in the late 40s, it was 5 participants from Redondo Beach, California, making their way to Catalina and back. 31 miles over, 31 back for a total of 62. Today, from all around the world, England, Australia, Germany, and of course the United States. Who we're really keeping an eye on is last year's 1990 winner, Marty Wells. Marty Wells last year thundering across the Pacific Ocean, 20 miles into the race, fell, was picked back up by his team and went on to win the race. Number 44 this year, Jim Duvall is the power driver for, of course, Marty Wells. Kurt Schoen, a California native, the 1989 winner. He's out here thundering on the number 19 boat. It's Ed Herbst and Mr. Terrible working their way across the top of the Pacific Ocean. And of course, from England, number 98, Darren Kirkland. Now, Darren has practiced on the English Channel. He's going to see if it's as rugged here, the 31 miles over and the 31 miles back here at the Long Beach Harbor. Of course, we're watching California native Corey Cook. The big story today, David, is Chuck Stearns, 12-time winner of this event. 25 years involved with this particular race. He's going to make his way across the water. It was rumored that one year he missed Catalina, went on to San Clemente Island, ran out of fuel. The Coast Guard had to rescue him. To prove that he went over to San Catalina Island, he picked up a goat and brought it back. Of course, in the women's division, the Valvoline one boat, Lori Dunsmore. Driver is Mike Drews, and also competitive in the women's division, Debbie Norbad. I tell you what, just behind me, they're anxious and they're ready to go. The radios are crackling. Our crew is ready. We'll be switching to the air. David, it's a spectacular start. I've seen the start of the Indianapolis 500. I've seen Grand National stock car races, but trying to keep Mother Nature and the ocean steady, we got a jewel in front of us right now.
This is being brought to you by Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by First Interstate Bank. We go the extra mile for you. And by the Long Beach Boat and Ski Club. And by Powerboat Magazine, the world's leading performance boating magazine.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better. And better and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before. And cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
Welcome back to the Catalina water ski race. David Camp along with Dan Scahill. The early morning crowd is gathering at the start of the world's greatest water ski race along the shores of Long Beach Harbor. Here we see Lori Dunsmore's crew make the final preparation for V1's trip to the starting line. Let's look at the key factors in winning this ultra-marathon water ski race. At the launch, crews make final preparation while competitors tape their ankles and put on their wetsuits, pads, and helmets. Then the boat drivers drop off their driver's licenses at the official dock. If he doesn't pick it up at the end of the race day, the safety committee knows that the boat has been lost in action. At the start line, 100-plus boats and skiers line up, with large boats on screen right and small boats on screen left. Here we see Lori Dunsmore pulled by V1, who won the women's championship last year. 2 weeks ago, we spent the day with Lori and her crew while she made practice runs around Long Beach Harbor.
See, when I'm practicing, I'm always thinking of, okay, I can't go down now. I'm on my way. I'm on my way to my win. I'm on my way to my back-to-back win. Mike Drews is my driver, and I really thank him very much. He's done an awful lot for me. We started off just as a playboat 2 years ago, and now they're really pumped over this Catalina race. John Robertson is our navigator. He's co-owner in the boat with Mike Drews, and Alex Herrera is my observer. And I couldn't do it without them. They're my strength. They're everything. They know every little bump I need, every speed there is to take to go to and from the island.
Lori, her driver Mike Drews, and navigator and observer practiced starting 3 months before the race, with actual runs to Catalina Island and back at speeds ranging from 40 to 70 miles per hour. A well-drilled crew and well-prepared race boat are essential to win in the open competition. As Lori enters the water at the race start line in the Long Beach Harbor, let's look at today's course conditions, which will play a big factor in this event.
David, we got challenging conditions for 62 miles. An open ocean, 50 degrees the water temperature. 1 to 2 foot chop. The winds are light, partly cloudy and bright. Temperature 75. Great racing conditions.
After the start on the way to the break wall, the first obstacle that affects the race is harbor traffic. Not only do the water skiers have to dodge each other, but they have to contend with barges and freighters as well. Then it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Here we see last year's early leader, Mark Pickering, go off course 9 degrees and never regain the lead again. On the way out to Catalina, the competitors and their observers have to watch out for debris, flying fish, birds, and other obstacles. They even have to watch out for sharks. Then there's the turn at Catalina, where the big boats must slow down for a wide turn, while the smaller boats can accelerate in the smooth water while making a tighter turn and often taking the lead. Last year, Corey Cook took the lead at the turn. However, if the water is rough, the large boats have the advantage on the home stretch. And finally, in the last 10 minutes, where your legs are about to fall off, your arms feel like rubber, where the huge wakes from the feared Catalina Express boats create difficult conditions every year. Here we see Gary Tomlin, the 1989 leader, knocked down by the Catalina Express boat's wake about 10 miles from the finish line. And if you survive all these obstacles and your boat's engine, steering, drivetrain, and props hold up for 60 minutes at an average speed of 65 miles per hour plus, then you may have a chance of winning this race. Well, Dan, now I know why they call it the world's greatest water ski race.
No doubt about it, David. Mr. Terrible. Here's Ed Herbst. He's the pilot, the driver. Kurt Schoen will be in the water, the number 19. This is a rig that we'll be watching in the big boat category. Number 4, Jim Duvall, the skipper, and Marty Wells will be towed behind this particular unit. These are some of the top rigs, one of 110 from around the world that campaign in this event. David, here's an outstanding competitor, 11-time winner Chuck Stearns. Bob Norskog, the pilot, 78 years of age. Combined Chuck Stearns' age and Bob, it's number 130, hence the whole number. 11-time winner Chuck Stearns, 25 years of activity. Here's Valvoline 1, Laurie Dunsmore in the water. We're getting ready, an 1/8 of a mile off Long Beach. Everybody waits. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back to Catalina Water Ski Race. I'm David Camp along with Dan Scahill. And Dan, you can see 100+ boats are ready to go. The start of this great race. And Dan, we talked about earlier, how important is the start?
With the officials of the Long Beach Boat and Ski Club, see the conditions are ready. Red flares are fired, 1 to port, 1 to starboard. That signals to all competitors we are officially underway. Slowly and carefully, the race machines nerf their skiers out of the water. But David, here's where strategy comes into play. The youngsters, the amateurs, think it's necessary to hard charge out through Queen's Gate in the number 1 position. But it's the big boats, the power boats that know, set up the pace of the machine, the wake that they set for their skier as they make the start of this race.
And what a sight we see here. 100 boats firing out to Catalina Island, approximately 62 miles and back. As you can see in the background, Spruce Goose and the old mighty Queen Mary. And Dan, what a sight.
No doubt about it. The competition here is everybody's making their way to what's called Queen's Gate, the break in the breakwater that's 2 city blocks wide. It's like professional football players, the whole team heading for 1 elevator. Here's number 4, Marty Wells in second place. Top of our screen, just going out, 2:32, Corey Cook, setting an early pace. Smooth from the start, but we start to see the swells and the valley of the wake from the boats. Long way to go. Got to pace yourself.
Well, we've got 2 boats head-to-head. The top of our screen, we've got Corey Cook in boat number 232. And the bottom of our screen, last year's winner, Marty Wells from Colton, California, in the boat number 4, Medieval Times, driven by Jim Duvall.
David, Marty Wells in the open men's division, a former speedway racer, like you said, last year's 1990 winner. Jim Duvall, his pilot and driver, of course, a professional open ocean racer. He knows the conditions well, but he's driving a borrowed boat.
Dan, as the 2 skiers head out, what type of communication does the skier have with the driver? And how important is the navigator and the observer on the boat?
Well, here's Marty Wells, last year's winner. Look at his style. He must keep the rope up out of the water because that's added weight. When he feels good there, a signal is given to his spotter that says, I'm in a good condition, I'm running in a good wave, keep me going, give me some pace. And look at him start to accelerate and move away from our top competitor, 232, Corey Cook. Again, Wells signals and says, I'm ready. They're setting a blistering pace. And again, the conditions. For our viewers at home, they're looking at a water skier behind an open ocean-going machine. This is something you don't do every day. It's as busy in the sky as it is in the water, but they're setting a blistering pace, kind of like a Joe Amato NHRA drag racing.
Here we have Marty Wells in the number 4 boat. In the lower part of our screen, you can really see him almost sitting back on that special-made speed ski, they call it. It's about 7 feet long and about 1.5 inches thick.
And of course, a good shot at 232, the elegant run of the machine.
You can really see how fast they're going. There's actually a Velcro strap against that strap in the back. They're kind of resting. They're holding themselves up by that strap. They really don't want to use their arms so much. 62 miles. I can imagine. I've water skied before, Dan, and I've gone across a lake, and I'm beat after just going around one time. This is 62 miles of open ocean endurance racing at its best.
And look at the distance right off the bat. Here's our leader, Marty Wells, number 4, on the leg heading from Long Beach to Catalina to the turnboat. And of course, dealing with 220-foot line going back. Here's a great shot of that fountain boat and the crew working in harmony. The driver sending the machine across the top of the ocean. The navigator keeping his eye on Catalina, and the observer looking at the condition of Marty Wells. Wells signals to him, but if he can't, the observer must keep an eye on him. Conditions, leg strength, jump in the water, it all is a ballet on the ocean.
You can really see the hand signals again. Marty Wells says thumbs up. I want more speed. They're out in the open ocean. Thus, the bigger boats can really open it up.
Might add, David, that the big boats, this is great performance right now. The little boats are having some difficulty on the ocean. It changes 5 times going across. From the shelf that drops off in this distance between Long Beach, California to Catalina, the shift, the current, the waves, the wind, and the big boats, and you're dealing with traffic waves and current. It's quite spectacular. Great view. The leaders, second and third in one shot right here. Marty Wells, number 4. Corey Cook, 232. Darren Kirkland, number 98. And number 19, Kurt Schoen. 1, 2, 3, and 4, the top leaders, big boat, open men's division, thundering towards Catalina. Here's that 1,200 horsepower, 38-foot Scarab Valvoline 1 towing Lori Dunsmore. Pace is being set. Here's Lori Dunsmore. She's the leader in the open women's division. So the big boats and the big classes are setting a blistering pace on the open Pacific Ocean.
And here's a nice shot of Lori Dunsmore, the Valvoline boat, the V1 boat, heading out to Catalina. You know, she's been racing in this race for 7 years. She finally won it in 1990. She's looking to repeat it. And we'll be back with more action of the Catalina 1991 water ski race.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better, and better, and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before, and cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
When I get in my race car, I get in to win. We don't go to any racetrack to run second. The technology that goes into these cars is second to none. You think we'd protect them with just any motor oil? What Valvoline has learned out on the racetrack has made their motor oil better and better.
People who know use Valvoline.
That means people who demand performance. People like me.
Welcome back to Catalina 91 water ski race. They're heading out to Catalina. And Dan, what a race we have. You can see they're about 18 minutes into this race. The turnaround point is about 30 minutes, approximately 62 miles from Long Beach Harbor to Catalina and back. And what a race we have.
David, here's a battle in the open ocean for second place. Lower part of our screen, the number 98 boat towing Darren Kirkland, the Englishman, Al Thompson, we mentioned earlier, the driver, and of course Corey Cook, 232. They aren't even aware of each other side by side. What they are concentrating on, of course, their power source, the big boats in front of them, making their way across the top of the Pacific Ocean. Thompson, number 98, the crew working in harmony, watching their particular skier work his way in the wave. Beautiful shot. Look at this. Across the ocean, probably 65, 70 miles an hour.
Well, you know, Dan, Darren Kirkland in the 98 boat is no stranger to this. He finished second in 1990. And for the first time, we've got sight of the Catalina Island. Remember I said earlier, Dan, about the turn. The smaller boats have the advantage. They can make the tighter turn. But the bigger boats have to go a bit wider. You can see Marty Wells. He's got a little bit of slack in the rope. He wants more power. He wants more speed. They can see the island, the Catalina Island. He wants to make that home stretch and come on back.
Here's that number 4 unit pulling Marty Wells. As a matter of fact, the navigator spotting Catalina 1/8 of a mile off of the historic casino is the turn boat where everybody must pass by. They are logged and duly noted to make sure officially by the Long Beach Boat and Ski Club that every competitor has gone by at the halfway point. Beautiful shot. The style, the finesse of open ocean skiing.
You can really see how fast they're going here. Unbelievable. And they've gone about 25 minutes. They're making the turn about 30 minutes. And you can see the speed. This is a beautiful event. Amazing.
I tell you, the folks at home viewing this, not only they watch an open ocean going boats, but the fact that a water skier 220 foot behind, thundering across the top of the Pacific Ocean in one of the busiest harbors on the Pacific coast.
Here's a great shot of Marty Wells, and earlier we had a chance to talk to Marty.
Just coming up the coast this morning, I was looking out over the ocean, and it looks a little bit smoother than we'd like it, because the boat is limited on miles an hour that I'm skiing behind, so we want it a little bit bumpy out there. Makes it tough for the competition.
And a little bit bumpy it is. He's getting what he's requested. At the open ocean, Marty Wells setting his strategy, keeping an eye on his power plant, saying, move on, gentlemen, move on. I'm ready to go. The competition all setting themselves up behind them. Well, as a matter of fact, there's number 98, Darren Kirkland, the Englishman, Al Thompson. Strategy being set up right now. Marty Wells running ahead of the power source of second place, Darren Kirkland, number 98. We're heading for the turnboat in the open ocean. Smooth as it may be, look at the boats jump. We'll be back after these messages.
Welcome back to the 43rd annual Catalina 91 water ski race. And what a race we have. Remember, Dan, as I said earlier, the bigger boats must slow down for the turn at Catalina. Now we've got number 98, a smaller boat, and he can make actually a tighter turn around Catalina and turn back. So he might have the advantage.
Battle here is between the driver, Jim Duvall, driving number 4, Al Thompson, number 98. They must set the strategy to the turnboat. Side by side, like Grand National stock cars, Mark Martin and NASCAR racing. The strategy here is Jim Duvall, number 4, and Al Thompson, number 98, making their way a clip across the Pacific Ocean. There's Catalina in the background. In their sights, they can see the turnboat signaling side by side. We have got ourselves a race taking place, David.
I'll say, Dan, you know what amazes me is after 32 miles, they're neck and neck. And remember, that turn up here is awfully tight.
Marty Wells, Derek Kirkland, these are our competitors. Even though there's a stretch taking place now, we're setting ourselves up for the turnboat. You can see them, they're starting to signal. Both of the skiers are starting to set themselves up by signaling to their powerboat sources. Number 4, Jim Duvall, Al Thompson, number 98. Kirkland is currently the leader, number 98. Things could change. Good visibility, beautiful shot. It's like they're out there all by themselves, but there's 98 boats behind them.
That's for sure. And it really doesn't look that choppy. I'm sure in the harbor area of Catalina, it actually, the swells slow down a little bit. It's not as choppy going to the harbor, so they can speed up a little bit just before the turn.
On this side of the island, the wind does cut it down and cause it to be a little bit more stabilized, but at this speed, it could be wide open for anybody. The strategy here is we have some pleasure boats that are coming into the frame right now, which means we're coming right down into the turnboat. That's the Long Beach Boat and Ski Club official site that registers each and every competitor, boat and skier, must circle around to make the 31-mile run back. This is an interesting approach coming back. Look at the problem here. Al Thompson, number 98, takes a dive towards Jim Duvall. Jim Duvall has to back out of it. Within 18 feet of one another, Duvall takes the outside shot. Thompson on the inside. The water skiers are simply spectators at this point. And there's pleasure boats in the way. This is a close call.
And Dan, in third place, 3-time winner Kurt Schoen in the Mr. Terrible boat. What a race we have. 3 boats around the turn at the same time. And now Kurt Schoen is actually in the back area, but he can observe. He can see what the other 2 boats are going. Remember what I said earlier, Dan, the larger boats have the advantage on the home stretch going home to Long Beach Harbor.
Again, look at this. Jim Duvall, number 4, is being cut off by Al Thompson, number 98. Within 11 feet, Thompson thunders the smaller boat inside shot, strong arms it around, forcing Jim Duvall, towing Marty Wells to the outside towards the spectator craft, and Marty has to tighten up to make sure that he doesn't go into the pleasure craft. In the meantime, Al Thompson, Darren Kirkland are setting up their pace, and Kurt Schoen says, by golly, we got a race.
And there's a good shot at 19, Mr. Terrible. When he came around that corner, he jumped right into Darren Kirkland's wake. I don't know if that's to an advantage or not, but as I said before, he's at the back. He's kind of seeing what's going on. He's going to make his move.
David, I might point out right now, the leaders are heading back into harbor freeway traffic. Now all the competitors, their wake in different sea condition exposed for leaders 1, 2, and 3.
In the bottom part of our screen, there's a good shot of Darren Kirkland in the 32-foot Baja, driven by Al Thompson, and it's getting rough out there. Remember, there's 100 boats going out to Catalina. And as you can see in the top part of our screen, there's Marty Wells, the defending champion, the 1990 winner, driven in that medieval times boat.
So Kirkland, Wells, and Schoen, 1, 2, and 3, as they're making the hard charge back to Long Beach.
Here's our leader, Darren Kirkland, driven by Al Thompson in the 98 boat, the 32-foot Baja. He's heading on home for Long Beach, and it's a rough ride. Now remember, the women are making the turn. They're about 5 minutes behind.
Here they are here. I think we're coming up on, yep, Lori Dunsmore, the winner from last year. Here's Lori Dunsmore, the leader in the open women's division in the 43rd annual Catalina ski race. 220 feet behind. She's being told, of course, by that Valvoline 1 boat. 1,200 horsepower, 38 foot long. Mike Drews in this 1978 Scarab, the crew doing well. In harmony, working for that turnboat. Tell you what, David, the best seats in the house are here on the screen or at that turnboat.
That's right. And Lori Dunsmore, she's been in this event for 7 years. She finally won in 1990. She's going to be going after defending her title. The question is, can she repeat? Well, her form certainly looks true today.
In that women's class, Debbie Norblad is also a top competitor, so it's not over till it's over. Good, strong, open men's division and the women's division in the Catalina. The excitement there at the turnboat, 1/8 of a mile off the shore of Catalina.
Currently, the men are in front of Lori by about 5 minutes. And behind Lori is Debbie Nordsblad. She's about 5 minutes behind. As you can see, other boats are making that turn, heading for home.
Thundering into the turn, the Valvoline 1, Drews towing Lori Dunsmore. We'll be back after this.
When I get in my race car, I get in to win. We don't go to any racetrack to run second. The technology that goes into these cars is second to none. You think we'd protect them with just any motor oil? What Valvoline has learned out on the racetrack has made their motor oil better and better.
People who know use Valvoline.
That means people who demand performance. People like me.
Welcome back to the 43rd annual Catalina water ski race. Hi, I'm David Camp along with Dan Scahill. Welcome back to this non-stop round-trip drag race across the open ocean seas between Long Beach Harbor and Catalina Island.
Seeing 7th place, Mike Alva, 26-foot Helen, number 111, working his way across the top of the ocean. A lot of the top competitors now making the run back to Long Beach. Here's Gary Tomlin, number 27. He also a Hallett, a 24-footer, his power source. Mike Magin, the driver of a 2-man crew, working their way back from the turnboat to Catalina to Long Beach. Greg Anderson, number 069. Greg working in 5th place, the 069, a 26-foot Scarab, the power source, working its way back now to Queens Gate to Long Beach, California. Corey Cook, 232 in 4th place. Rick Lathrop powering the 32-foot Nordic. And Kurt Schoen, number 19. And watching him with Ed Hurst, Mr. Terrible, the Las Vegas crew making their way. Off camera, Derek Kirkland, number 98, running in 3rd on the return to Long Beach. But our leader, number 4, Marty Wells, Jim Duvall. Spectacular turn before at the halfway point with a vision of Lady Luck thundering across the top of the ocean, making his way back. I wonder if there's a visions of the Travelodge victory dock in his mind yet, as could he repeat a win in this race?
Well, remembering all too well, last year, Marty fell on the way out to Catalina. This is at this point, and I'm sure he can remember it all too well. This is the stretch where he regained the lead. And Marty says it all too best. It ain't over till it's over.
You know, David, the 43rd annual Catalina ski race, the record time was set in 1987 by Mason Thompson of Newport Beach, California. 54 minutes, 56 seconds. But we also have youngsters in this race.
That's right, Dan. The youngest participant ever to enter the Catalina race is Graham Cole from Tarzana, California. He's 8 years